the person like really pushed me to the edge and talk about religion, Islam, how dare you? And then I was like handcuffed after the TV interview.
Welcome to the Immigrant Experience in America, an immigrant human library, where we amplify and humanize the experiences of immigrants in the United States and around the world. Listen in as we add another story to our immigrant human library. Hello, listeners, and thank you for joining us on the Immigrant Experience in America. I'm your host, Simone W. Johnson-Smith, and this is a place where we amplify and humanize the experiences of immigrants in the United States and around the world. Today, we have another amazing story for you. It is from Burak Yilmaz. Welcome, Burak.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. How's everyone? How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to hear your journey. So Burak, if you don't mind telling us a bit about your heritage, where you're from, your family's from, and what brings you here to the United States.
Absolutely. So I'm Burak Yilmaz, and I was born and raised in Turkey in a very small town, like 8,000, population. And everything started with me going to like my mother. My mother left when I was 5 years old, and from there, my father was never around. Grew up in the foster care, religious school, boarding school. I published a book in Turkey, called it "The Stories of Homosexuals." And after that, I got the book really did really well. After that, got in jail, been tortured, came to United States with no English and not knowing anyone at age of 23. Uh, you know, Failed GED twice, dropped out of business school, learned some more English, tried GED again. This time I passed it and got into college, got multiple scholarships. And then I went to NYU nursing school, full scholarship, and became a successful nurse today. And wrote my second book, If My Mother Never Left. This is like the before the book, after the book, self-help, all that.
Right, right. So tell us, what's the name of the book that you released while you were in Turkey that caused all of this attention and subsequent harm?
It called An Ordinary Story of a Homosexual.
Okay.
And I used a pen name then to protect myself, which was Devrim Yilmaz, DEV as in Victor, RIM, like in Miami, and my last name, but didn't really make any difference.
Oh, they still were able to link the story to you.
Yeah, because then it got like so much attention, and then I got excited, and I was like running from TV channel to TV channel promoting my book, and then one day live TV interview, like let's say today's show, but at nighttime, and the person like really pushed me to the edge, and talk about religion, Islam, how dare you, and then I was like handcuffed after the TV interview.
Oh my goodness. Wow. So my sincere, heartfelt, I'm not really quite sure what to say, if it's condolences or empathy for your experience while there in Turkey. And it sounded like you said your mom left and you were in foster care, is that right?
Foster care, the grandparents, aunts, the uncles, you know, all of that.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm only child, and my mom left when I was five with my mother, with father's best friend, and abandoning issues. Always wondered in my mind what could have, would have, should have if she didn't leave. But I learned not to do that anymore.
So do you know what happened? Do you know anything of what was the reason she left? What happened to your dad? Have you found
Yeah,
out anything?
yeah. What happened was that my mother couldn't get pregnant for over 10 years. And she takes a trip to Switzerland and comes back as pregnant. And my father, of course, proud, like didn't say anything because like it was all about what people would say. And and then my mom fell in love with my father's best friend. They ran away together. She left me my father, but my father knew that was like I wasn't his child, but I didn't know. So he didn't want to take care of me. He just like left me, there and here. But I found all these when I reunited with my mom at the age of 20.
Oh, that's great. So you were reunited and learned what was the true story behind everything.
Yeah, I wish I didn't.
Hmm. Yes, yes, quite a painful story. So then does she know who your actual biological father is?
No,
Oh,
I
she,
did the 20, I did the 23 and me, but I'm not going to find them or anything like that. So
right,
that's
right. You're
fine.
not going to pursue that journey. Yes, okay. Are you guys still in touch today?
No,
Okay, okay.
no.
Yeah, it's painful story, but it sounds like you're in a better place. Yes?
I'm in a better place and she's in a better place. So
Yes, that's good. That's good. So I wonder then, did you come through the U.S. refugee program? How did your journey
no,
bring you to the U.S.?
no. When I got myself out of jail somehow, and I ran to American consulate. I said, they're trying to kill me here. You better get me out of here. I need a visa. So they expedite everything. I got my visa in 3 days, and I came to the United States. They were waiting for me here, and everything went smoothly. They were like, "Good luck, son. I'm glad you're alive," and all that.
Okay, so I'm sorry, who was waiting for you? Did you have family or friends on the side?
No, no, no. I have a friend who's like was working here as a designer, the fashion designer. So he he knew I was coming, and he prepared things for me, and so I started from there.
Okay, okay. So I wanted to then, I'm thinking, and I know my listeners are wondering, can you give us, and I'm sorry if it's painful, but I'm hoping that you find some healing and are able to talk about what life is like in Turkey. Give us a sense, give us a context, a backdrop for what life is like in Turkey. Generally for everybody, whether, what's the general sense for like what were things you did for fun? What was school like, interacting with family, foods that you ate, and of course the whole religious environment. What is that like in Turkey? I've never traveled, and and for our listeners are wondering, we've never been to that side of the world before. What is it like? All we see is on TV, some of the news bites, but give us a sense for what life is like over there.
Turkey is a place that you gather a gown, nightgown, and you go to breakfast.
I'm sorry?
Turkey is a place that you wear your nightgown. I mean, like to go like the cocktail dress to a breakfast.
Mm,
They
that's
love,
interesting.
yeah, they love luxury. They love like showing off. They love, for example, going to a supermarket or they really care what you wear. Let's put it this way.
Okay, so
Yeah,
external presentation is very important, the way you present yourself publicly.
correct. It's very important, and gas is very important. The breakfast is really important. Gym is not important. It's all about getting together and have coffee and have conversation, and you know, and it's just a different culture. So food is very important, and you know, and dinner, lunch takes hours there.
Right, right, right. So what are typical foods that you eat?
Me or Turkish people?
Just Turkish people,
Uh,
if I were to go to Turkey, what is life like there? I'm trying to get a sense for, I've never traveled. My listeners has never been there. What is it like, in Turkey? What are the typical foods for breakfast, lunch, dinner? What times of the day do you eat? It's a different world for a lot of people.
because it's a really, really rich culture. And there's a lot of food, there's a lot of different things. Like I cannot really say, oh, we eat kebabs, but we really eat that sometimes. But beside that, there are a lot of things to eat, especially the breakfast. The breakfast is a million different kinds of things on the table. So for me, there's no way to explain that.
Okay. No, well, I was just trying to get a sense for your experience. Like, what
Yeah,
did you
I mean,
eat typically in your family? You know, not to cover the entire country, but what was your experience? Like, what did you eat growing up? Did you have, like
I
here we
didn't
have
eat anything.
toast and egg and
I grew up in poverty, so I didn't eat anything. And everything that I eat was like a soup, especially with my grandmother, or whatever the people provided me, maybe like butter or bread, maybe every day. So I didn't have all that for me, but other people did have, but not me. And I just tried to survive the next day. Maybe sandwich, maybe the sandwich in a, with the cheese and tomato would be luxuries for me then. And so that's what I ate.
okay, but other people have like a bigger
I,
spread, like
I don't know. I don't know what other people eat. That's not what I watched. I can tell you what I ate.
okay. All right. All
So,
right. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, so what drove you to release your book back then?
um, so in that time, like I was living day by day. I didn't know what was going to happen the next day because I was really, really trying to survive. When I started writing everything down, so that I was just like scared if someone like would find me dead, they knew like what kind of life I had and my friends and everybody. So from that, I found a job in a publisher where I was working as a editor, not editor actually, typer and ghostwriter. Um, with that publisher, my publisher said, like, why don't we just publish your book? And we did, and this is what happened. So it took me here.
Right. But you were very young, right? Because you came here at 23. So
Yeah, I was a bestseller author at 22.
wow, wow, wow. Amazing, amazing. And so what is life like then for people with a lifestyle such as this back in Turkey? I mean, it sounds to be very strict. Obviously, you got arrested and harmed, what is the
As
general perspective with the lifestyle such as that?
I mean, as long as you are, connected to Islam, talk about Islam, promote Islam, and act like you're a good Muslim person, everything is great for you. But once you get out of that, image, then you get you become a target.
Gladly did. So the U.S. Embassy was aware of your story. So when you showed up after getting out of jail or prison, did they know who you were? How did they
Yeah,
verify
I
your
would.
story?
I had like pages of pages of newspapers on the cover, like full page. I brought them with me, and the magazines and all the other articles. I dropped the folder on front of them. I said, "This is me. I have to get out of this country." That's what happened.
Good, good. Well, lucky for you. Sometimes it's not as fortunate for some people to be able to even get to the U.S. Embassy and then get such support quickly and then to be able to leave on such short notice. So
That's not it.
that's
Let me ask you. Let me ask you a question. What countries have you visited?
what countries have I visited? I have been to the African continent, South
Uh-huh.
America, the Caribbean. I've been to Europe, haven't been to your part of the country. Why do
You
you
should.
ask?
I was just wondering, and just like I was just wondering. That's all.
Right. Yeah, no, I've never been to that side of the world. That's why I'm trying to get a sense for what life is like there. I
I
mean,
see.
of course, we see things in the media, but when you speak to somebody who's actually lived in the country and have, experienced everyday life, they can give you more details about what everyday life is like for a general Turkish person, right?
Correct.
So that's
Correct. But
all. I was just trying to get a sense for what,
uh,
things were. But you've shared what your experience specifically was during that time when you were there.
correct. I mean, as I said before, Turkish culture is so rich. There is no way for me to talk about it in like 22nd. That's
Okay,
why.
no, I get that, but you can share whatever perspective you have. So people get very lavishly dressed for breakfast, which is quite strange for a lot of cultures.
No,
Um,
not for Latinos. It is, I mean, like it's very like soap opera style, so thing,
okay,
Well,
okay, I
for
see.
example, when I went to South America and I just I thought there were so many things that similar with us. The drama, the way you look, the way you act, and then that you have to look rich or you try to look rich or you become rich. It's all about being rich, looking rich.
Mm. Yes, yes, yes. And I mean, there's a side of that in our US culture here, of course. If most people want to wear expensive jewelry, expensive clothing, drive the expensive car to give off the persona that they're affluent or they're coming from a wealthy background if there's a perception that they will get respect or be accepted in certain spaces, then that's what people do. So I get that. Okay. Okay. So there's a part of that here in the US, right? But there's still spaces where if people don't have that type of affluence, then there's a space for them too, right?
Correct,
Um,
correct.
mhm.
But it's so nice to see someone actually, tries, to look their best before they get they get out of their place, their apartment, when they walk on the street. It's so nice to see that.
Yes, no, definitely. I agree. It's important to take care of yourself and present yourself well to the public.
Right.
So I wonder then, so you came over after the U.S. Embassy assisted you. What was life like in transitioning? Did you have any support? You mentioned having a friend here. How did you adjust to life here in the United States?
So literally, my friend was a fashion designer and knew a store in Soho. He took me and brought me there the second day that I was here. And he said, "Okay, this is yours. Like he's gonna work here, and that's it." And then he went back to Europe, left me, and told me like, "Okay, this is how you pay your rent. This is where you open a bank account. This is how you take the subway." In 1 week, I have to learn all this, and so I started working. Obviously, my first three words that I learned was like small, medium, and large in English because I was working the stockroom.
Yes. Okay.
And from that, asking, question. And I was so shy. I was so shy. I'm like, I couldn't even approach to someone and became this person that I'm not afraid to talk to anyone.
Wow. Okay. Right. And then,
Because I
so
have to
how,
ask, either I ask that person, where is blah, blah, or I'm just gonna spend 3 hours trying to figure this out. That was the deal.
right. Okay. So then over time you develop the confidence, right? To have the
I,
conversation and ask for help and learned more English.
yeah, yeah. And I went to a language course, but it was not what I expected. And I couldn't spend just like 1 week just to say, "Hi, my name is Burak. What's your name? Where are you from? I'm from Turkey." Did you learn this in 1 week? So that's how bad my English. So I grabbed the books and I studied at night and watched TVs a lot. And then so I could imitate how they speak, how they said it, where they said it.
Okay, great. Did you find, were you able to find like Turkish people from your country and to assist you in the adjustment, or were alone for a period there?
Oh yeah. So I've met with Turkish people, Turkish gay people who helped me so much in the past and showed me the way and like this is where you go, this is what you do, this is how you do it. And it's all communications. And we didn't have Facebook or, like group chat or anything like that. Yeah, it's just like you have to be very personable. and try to meet with these people, and so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Um, and so yeah, luckily I had done.
Yes, yes. And did you go directly to the northeastern part of the country when you first arrived? And is that where life developed for you, or did you move to a different place?
You mean in Manhattan?
Right, like New York area. Were you when you first came arrived to the US, did you go to New York or were you somewhere else?
No, I went to New York. I stayed in Manhattan for a while, and then I moved to Los Angeles for 1 year. Um, then came back to New York.
Okay, okay,
I mean,
great.
for the college, I moved to Long Island, but then I came back to continue my studies at NYU
Okay,
in
okay.
Manhattan. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So what were some challenges that came along as you, apart from the learning English and, becoming assertive and asking for help and so forth? What were some other challenges that may have come about with you adjusting from the Turkish culture and learning the American culture?
Listen, when you don't speak English, going to Delhi and to buy a sandwich is a challenge. It's a big challenge. And beside that, the GED was a big challenge, like getting my high school degree. And, going into college was a big challenge. Graduating was a big challenge. Getting into nursing school was a big challenge. Graduating was a big challenge. Which one would you prefer me to talk about?
Whatever you'd like to share as encouragement for other immigrants who would be listening to your story, right?
Uh,
And how you adjusted, what are some tactics or,
so the
what encouragement would you share for other people who might be in your shoes today as new immigrants?
First of all, if they could understand our English, kudos to you. You came a long way to them. So with that said, if they're going to listen to in English, that means, they're already at some level. Like like 10 years ahead of me than when I came here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I would suggest that use internet, but do not pay anyone from the internet. If you can meet them in person, if you have to pay them, if it's like a lawyer or anything like that, do not believe what other people tells you they're going to do for you, because, and for example, nobody's going to do anything for you if they don't know you. So stop dreaming. Just be realistic. And nothing happens overnight. You have to be really patient. Use and do not try to reinvent the wheel. Ask online, search it, Google it. You have this amazing advantage that I didn't have. I had to walk around with like the paperback dictionary and try to find the words in pages. You know what I mean? Um, be open-minded. That's all I can say.
Okay. Would you like to share a bit about your new book and how people would be able to find it if they would like to buy a copy or to support your services if you provide like coaching or any other services?
So if you don't want to reinvent the wheel and see how I survived, come to America, and what I've done, you can buy my book and see if you can do it. The You can go to my website, www.b as in boy, U as in umbrella, R as in Robert, A as in apple, K as in Kevin, 212.com, and purchase it March 16th. Not today. I mean, this is going to be something. So go to my website and buy my book, or Amazon, the book called If My Mother Never Left. And then I promise you, you will identify with something that will inspire you.
Wonderful. So has it been released as yet? Because you're saying March 16th. Is it, are
Correct.
they
So
pre-ordering? Are they pre-ordering your book?
not pre-ordering. March 16 it will be out, and
Okay.
yeah,
And they can find it on Amazon as well as on your website.
absolutely.
And
Follow me
are you
on
on,
follow me on Instagram, BURAKNY 212, like my name, Burak, New York, and 212. Yeah, they can follow me on Instagram or Facebook. If they have questions for me, I can answer them.
okay, yes, by connecting with you on social media. Yes?
Right, right. I can definitely try to answer their questions because I've been there in that position. I don't want anyone to have difficult time than they're supposed to.
Right. Yes, definitely. Well, thank you for writing this book and sharing your story, Burak. I
Oh,
wonder what is life like for you today. I'm hoping that, things have gotten more peaceful and you're in a much joyful place than your start of your journey. What is life
but
like for you today?
I'm a successful nurse, and I love what I do, and I love helping people. And so now that I want to help this younger generation that have no idea what's going on, or they lock themselves in their room, they don't want to get out because they don't think they're worthy. And I want to try, I'm going to try to reach those young adults and maybe make a difference in their future.
Okay, okay, wonderful. And are these young adults from maybe from Turkey or from that part of the
Anywhere,
world or anyone across the board? You're comfortable with English so you can work with anybody.
of course.
Yes, wonderful. Okay, well, thank you so much for sharing about your journey, your book, and I welcome our listeners to check you out at your website that you've shared or to look out for your book when it's released on March 16, 2023. Burak
No
Yilmaz.
must. Correct.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining us on the show and sharing your story.
Thanks for having me. Have a wonderful day.
We thank our listeners around the world and we appreciate your continued support as we build our human library. Please remember to give us a 5-star review, subscribe, and share with your friends, family, and circle of influence.